What is up, everyone? Thank you for coming and viewing this video today. Today we're going to cover a template similar to the one that we viewed just recently. This is an automated, what I'm calling Streamlined Budget. I'm calling it a Streamlined Budget because it's simple but powerful. It's one of the easiest budgets that I think I've ever built. It's designed in a very logical way, very similar to the way that I'm used to entering my own personal finances, that I think you'll get a benefit out of. So if you've purchased this already and you're viewing this as sort of a tutorial, welcome. Thank you for the purchase. If you're coming across this on YouTube or if you came from Etsy, looking at the description, thank you for watching this. So we'll go ahead and go straight into the template. So this template has 3 tabs. Let me move this screen so you can see it, and we'll kind of go through them. It has instructions, has a Streamlined Budget tab, and has the register. And let's just bring this down so you can see everything again. And so as you see here, there's step-by-step instructions. There is a link to this video as well. That's kind of it. Like I said, gives you kind of straight instructions through here. We'll go to the Streamlined Budget here. The Streamlined Budget is real nice for the layout and just walking through every single month. I'm going to hide this row just because right now we don't need to see it. There we go. But what it does is it goes from left to right. We have essentially 4 major groups of income or expense. And there's income, which is kind of self-explanatory. Wages, business, interest, investment income, whatever you need here for your income. There is debt payments that you can see here. For your mortgage, your car, student loan, credit card, whatever type of debt you have. And then you can see here, it actually shows you, okay, here's how much money you have left after your debt payments. Kind of shows you what you have after all of those expenses are gone. If you go further down, we have groupings like required spending. So this is going to be things like utilities, internet, phone, taxes, insurance, groceries. If you don't have debt, but you have rent's right here. This area right here is for all those things where you spend routinely and you have to. You don't really get a choice in the expense. You kind of need it for life to function as it is. And then the last area is optional spending for things like restaurants, clothing. I know clothing could be required, but generally I don't believe it to be. Entertainment, merchandise, whatever here. And this is really the wants over the needs, the things you really want to have. And then really after that, it shows you what remaining money you have. We have a place here, compares the budget to the actual budgets. You just go over here into each month, and if you input, for example, if I change this, you'll see that some of the totals kind of change here, but you hard key those into each one of the months. If we go from left to right now, in column D, what you can see here is you have budget, actual, difference for the year to date, and you also have the monthly average. What's really nice here is it's calculating year to date based off of the current date. So I am recording this on September 20th, 2022, and that's why you actually, if you unhide this, we saw it a minute ago. Oh, hit the wrong button. Let me unhide. You can see the last finished month is 9. It's really kind of the in-process month, mine. But this calculation here knows for the year to date, it knows only to look through the first 9 months. And the reason this is important, it's something that a lot of people don't think about, but a lot of people like to budget ahead of time. So in other words, people, and if we go all the way across here to there, you can see I've already input budgets for October, November, December, because I have a plan. But when I'm comparing my actual expenses to my budget on a year-to-date basis or a monthly average, I don't want to count those because they've not occurred yet. I want to see my actual budget expenses through the 9 months compared to the actual expenses for that 9 months. So that this does some automated calculations to always calculate the year-to-date based off the current month. And what's kind of really nice about this is when this flips over to October 1, the year-to-date will start calculating the October expenses into it. And then the monthly average is really just the year-to-date divided by the amount of months. So right now it's the year-to-date, the budget, divided by 9. And that's giving you what your budgeted monthly average is and your actual monthly average. These are 2 particular important points that I look at. In my day-to-day life, I like to see year-to-date how much I'm spending in each one of these groups and how much I have left after each one of them. That's something that I look at daily in mind. Now, I'm not a personal financial advisor. This is just the way I like to see my own finances that I found that works for me. You might like this. It may work for you. It may not, but I personally find this helpful. So going across here, let's also show here that we have, as we kind of scrolled before, we have all 12 months going across here. Now, what's really kind of neat is if you change this year, notice that all these things changed. And actually notice that the numbers changed as well because it's doing some calculations. Now the budgets don't move because they're hard key, but all the other information moved. Now, so let's walk through kind of entering a transaction and showing you kind of what it looks like. So, we've already kind of went through January, February, March, April, May. Let's go over here to September. I removed my September results at this point. So we'll show you just entering a couple of the September results. So if I go to my register, this is the last tab we have, and you can see here there's a bunch of transactions. This is my register. This is all the transactions that I've put in here. Now, like I said, I'm kind of putting this in as examples to fill in there, so it's not like real results, but you can see the transactions. So how do you enter a transaction to get it to show up on that previous tab onto this report in September? Well, what you do is we'll go ahead and put a date in. Today it's 9/20/2022. Here you select the drop down and you have income, debt payments, required spending, optional spending. And so let's just say we're going to do income for now. When you select income here, what's really nice is you can see, let me move this tab a little bit so you can see. Actually, let me scroll up so you can see. You can now see here I have all my income. Now what's really cool is, let me flip this. Debt payments. Now you can see those ones. Do one more. Let's go to required spending. Now you have all those. And optional spending. And now your drop down has all those. So what's really neat about this is it knows, based off your entry here, at the bottom of your register, it's reading what needs to be your selection. So I selected income. I select wages. This right here is just a description. You can put it in if you want. You don't have to. And then you put the amount right here. So let's just call this, like I said, this was wages. I think I was paying about $5,000. Let's put $6,000 just so we can see it. If you go to the Streamlined Budget and you see here, now you have $6,000. Now again, let's do a debt payment. Let's do 9/20/2022. And let's just select the debt payment. And we'll go here. We'll do the mortgage. We'll do $1,200. Let's do $1,350 just so we know specifically. And if you go here, now you can see $1,350 is on there. Now what's neat is again, this is going back over to the year to date and it's adding up and calculating on there as well. So this gives you just an absolute ton of information in here. And what's really nice, and the reason I put this register is because, sometimes you only have one charge a month. One time you'll have only one, maybe electric bill, one this or one that. But what this allows you to do is those things like restaurants or merchandise or, things that you might have 2 or 3 bills, you don't have to manually add up those bills and then enter them on this sheet. Instead, what you do is you enter them here, just like a check register. In fact, some people can kind of, if you're good in Excel or good in Google Sheets, if you have an export from your credit card, export from your checking account or savings account, if you can export to those to Excel and sort of line up your columns or paste each column individually, you can import some of this in by just doing some copying and pasting, especially like your date and your amount. You can actually kind of copy and paste those in a lot of cases, and that's for a lot of people that's helpful. And so we can see here that the Streamlined Budget, like I said, we can see those totals. One last thing we'll go through here, just because I get this question a lot of times, is adding, subtracting, changing an account. So let's start with the easiest one first, changing one of these account names. If you go into column C right here, and you just change one of these. Let's actually change one just to show you what happens. If you change one that already has transactions, let's call this rental property income. If you change an income there, that's already got transactions, notice it no longer calculates because it doesn't have that transaction name anymore. But if you go down here, you can customize any of these ones, or before you do any transactions, you can customize any of them. Let's say we'll do rental income, and we'll call that right there. Now, what's really neat about this is now that we've put this in here, let's go over here, and we'll just enter real quick. Let's go to income. And as you see now, rental income is on here. And so it knows how to calculate all those various things, which is really, really nice. The other questions I get, if you just need to delete an account, you just highlight the entire column, you delete it. I'm going to go ahead and undo that just because I don't actually want to delete this. If you need to add an account, and this works for any of these, not just the income, but if you need to add an account, this one's a little more tricky, so I want to show you because people ask me this all the time. If you highlight the last row, the row between the total for that group and the last account, so in this case it would be, as you see here, like row 15. If you insert right there, if you right click and say insert one row above and open this up, and then put your new income name. And then what you want to do is you want to highlight this, everything from essentially column D. You want to hold your left click over, go all the way to December. Let me scroll so you can, actually I can't see it. Let me move my screen. Go all the way to December. And you want to hit this little green box and you want to drag down. And this brings in all of the formulas that are working above. And this still auto totals. Now what's really neat is if we go back now to our register and show you, I have income 4. If we go here, let me move my OBS back over. Sorry for a little bit of the movement. If we go over here and I select income, now see I have income 4. So the new account is completely added in there. And so that, like I said, that one's always a little trickier. If I went through that a little fast, I do apologize. But that is always one of those ones that a lot of people ask about. And that's really it. Like I said, that's how you use this. This is like I said, to me, this is one of the best tools that I've used to track my own work. It's really helpful. Like I said, I like Excel, so I do a lot of manipulation. I can copy and paste and things like that as well, and that helps me bring these in. But this is, like I said, one of my more pleased ones. Now this particular one I'll show you on the top here. Let me move the screen a little bit more. I apologize for all the moving, but if you can see, this is a Google Sheet. This is available both in Google Sheets and in Excel. Now granted, here I use the example of the Google Sheet. The Excel works in the exact same thing. However, it was built in Excel. In other words, you're not going to get a Google Sheet that you got to convert or an Excel that you convert to Google Sheets. I list them separately and I sell them separately because the functions underneath here work slightly differently. And if you want one in Google Sheets, you want it built in Google Sheets. And if you have one in Excel, you want that thing built in Excel. I've seen people try and convert them. They don't work great. I used to sell them that way. They don't work great. I want to make sure you get something that works for you. And what I've seen so far is selling them separate and building them separately will work. So I will put in this video description, I will put the 2 different listings so you can see the Excel version and the Google Sheet. They both function the same way. I always, whenever I do instructions, I just do it in one version or the other, probably the one that I worked on the last. But like I said, both are available for whichever one of the softwares you prefer. Like I said, both are good. I'm not going to tell you one works better than the other. I like them both. And so whatever your preference is. That's it. Thank you for viewing this tutorial. If you like this, please give it a like. If you like the page, please think about subscribing. If you like this and think you want to buy it, please go over to our shop or just visit our shop to see all our other templates. We have lots of templates that we like to use that are helpful. We keep them cheap. Not cheap. We keep them inexpensive so everyone can use them and get benefit out of them. But we have lots of helpful tools across the board. Thank you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you again here soon.